Hey, welcome back to the Crash Space. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're back with some more gameplay. We are playing Gamora. This is Basic Gamora, Greymora, if you will, and we're just playing off against some Ultron. Gamora is a hero I wanted to get back to at some time this year. It's a character I haven't played a lot of. Event-based decks usually don't line up with me well, which is kind of interesting, but so far this one's been a lot of fun. We're gonna be diving into gameplay. If you want to jump straight to the gameplay, there are timestamps in the description. Otherwise, let's take a second to talk about what we have built here. This is Gamora. 222 stat line's not bad, and she has two responses that are both once per phase, not round, per phase, which is quite cool. So after you play an attack event, you can remove a threat from a scheme, and after you play a thwart event, you can deal 1 damage to an enemy. Again, limit once per phase is really cool. If you can fire these during the villain phase, you get some more value from this. And notably, this is not an attack and it's not a thwart, so it beats stun and confuse. And actually, these responses beat stun and confuse. If you play an attack event and the attack event is canceled from a stun, you technically did still attack, so this thing goes off. It's also optional, so you don't have to fire it on the first attack or the first thwart, and that sometimes matters. But Gamora is a very event-based deck, and that's something in Marvel Champions that I enjoy abstractly, but I've been struggling with classically. Things like Gamora and Ms. Marvel, I don't have a lot of success with them as much as Ms. Marvel is one of the coolest heroes in all of Marvel Champions. So we're going to give this one a shot, and I think we built something pretty interesting. Now, the alter ego side, it's okay. Firstly, you have some interesting deck building. You can build like this sort of wild multicolored deck. It says that you may include up to 6 attack and or thwart events in your deck from aspects other than your chosen aspect. You can play pool aspect if you want, but this deck has a mixture of protection, justice, aggression, and I don't think we have any leadership cards in there. As an action, when we're at alter ego, we can look at the top card of our deck. If it's an attack or thwart event, which is about half our deck, we can add it to our hand. This ability probably fires only twice a game. If you do have a lot of stun or confuse, and there's a lot of good Gamora builds that focus on stun or confuse, I think you can jump down to alter ego a fair bit more. We're not doing that much, so it's not super valuable. And this is the deck, and this is mostly shows you what Gamora is all about. She has these zero cost attacks and events, and they don't make a lot of sense in context, but of course, with our hero ability, every attack we do does its damage plus 1 thwart. Every thwart we do, or at least the first turn, does its thwart plus 1 attack. So it really multiplies the value and it gives you flexibility. That's a really big thing in this game, especially when you're playing an event-based deck, is if your events in your hand don't do what you want to do, usually you're not a character with a lot of board presence that has upgrades and or supports that can help you out. It's all about the cards you draw. So Gamora's reactions or responses gives her a bit more flexibility, which really helps when you draw not the perfect hand, when you need a bit of thwarting, but all you have is attack events or vice versa. You also don't end up losing a lot of damage, which is kind of nice because a lot of these things deal the smallest amount of damage they can. We have 2 copies of Acrobatic Move, 0 cost, 2 damage to an enemy, pretty simple. Now, Set the Pace on the other hand is only 1 threat. Now, these cards are a bit more interesting than they look because they do a bit more because of the responses, but these are actually my favorite cards in the deck and they really work well with the 0 cost cards. We have 2 copies of Decisive Blow. This is a 2 for 4 damage, but if you played a thwart event this turn, this is a 2 for 7. And because you played a thwart event and now you're playing an attack event, you'll get both sides of Gamora's text, which is really good. So if you play the perfect Set the Pace into Decisive Blow, that is 2 thwart, 8 damage, which is really quite good. And similarly, we have Forward Momentum. I feel like I play this one a bit less because you almost always want big damage. You don't always need big thwart, but this is either remove 3 thwart or 5 thwart if you played an attack event. And of course, that fires your abilities. We also have Nebula as our unique ally. We have a really cool thing where this is also our nemesis, so Nebula can turn on us and we have to discard her. Or if our nemesis is in play, we can't play Nebula. And she allows us to search our deck for an attack or a thwart event, which means if we're looking for any of these multi-card combos, she works out really nice. Also, 2 cost allies are just kind of such a great deal. We also have 2 copies of Crash Counter, and I think if you build into protection, you can kind of swing into this a bit more because this is not only an attack and a defense and a thwart card, but Gamora's ability fires every phase, which means in the villain phase, if you fire an attack or a thwart event, you can get some damage, you can get some threat off of cards. And Cross Counter is perfect because it's both. You prevent 3 damage, you deal a damage, then you remove a threat, and then you can deal 1 more damage, and then you can remove 1 more threat. The one thing you have to watch out is if you are stunned or confused, it will cancel the entirety of this card because it is attack traded and because it is thwart traded. So just watch out. Stunned and confused is really powerful against Gamora as much as her responses are not canceled. But I love this card. Playing Protection Gamora probably makes a fair bit of sense, but this is the only card we have in our deck right now that can fire during the villain phase. We also have 2 really nice research generators. Kind of uncommon to see a 1 cost research generator, and this generates a wild for an attack or thwart event. We have 2 copies of this. There's a whole bunch of decks that you can easily play in Gamora. Any card that requires a certain type of card or a certain type of resource, you can play really well. We actually are doing that, but we're not playing that many cards from aspects. We're playing mostly the basic aspect, and there's some cool basic aspect cards that work out well. Then there's 2 cards in her kit that I almost never play. We have Gamora's Sword. This card's okay. It's response. After you play an attack event, deal a damage to an enemy. That is not an attack, so that's kind of nice. It beats guard, it beats stun, that's cute. And it's not once per phase or first time per phase, it's as many times as you want. I always find in Gamora, because you want to fire her text every turn, you're really incentivized to play an attack event and a thwart event, which means playing a 3-cost upgrade is sometimes difficult if that upgrade is not super, super valuable. I imagine on average, if you put Gamora's sword down on turn 1, it's going to do a fair bit of damage, like 9 or 10 damage before the game is over, which is not bad at all. I just have never put this on the table. It just seems a bit slow. As much as you can build weapon-based Gamora decks, there's a bunch of nice events that care about weapons. We also have Conditioning Room, which we just played Magneto if you want to watch a stream from last week, where the order of your discard pile mattered. This is technically another card where that matters. You can heal 1 damage in Alter Ego, and you can draw the bottommost attack or thwart event in your discard pile. So be careful with your mulliganing that you put the cards in the right order. This fires maybe once a game. We don't often jump down to Alter Ego in this deck. Also, shout out to the art. It's fantastic. Now, these are the cards we're playing. And again, I said we're playing a basic Gamora deck because technically most of our cards are basic cards. And this card came out in Gamora and it's kind of perfect. It's not amazing, but it's kind of perfect. A lot of times there's like a lot of middling basic events in this game, and Hit and Run kind of falls into the pool as much as Gamora makes it a lot better. For 3 cost here, it's attack and a thwart event, and it says deal 2 damage to an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme, and because it's both attack and thwart, Gamora will be doing another damage and another thwart. So this is 3 cost for 6 mixed damage and thwart. It's a 2, a 2, a 1, and a 1, which that flexibility actually value a heck of a lot. Things like strength and diversity, if you ever played a deck around that, having this ability to like really get the full value out of the cards, so you're very flexible for a lot of board states, I like that a heck of a lot. And so Hit and Run in Gamora has been not bad. It's honestly okay if there's any deck that's going to play it. I do think they ended up reprinting this in the X-Men wave. I can't remember in which kit exactly. But this card has been okay, and it's a nice basic card to put in the deck. However, after this card was printed, this came out, I want to say most definitely in Jubilee. We have Multi-Talented, which is just about the same card. And while it has resource restrictions in a deck that has multiple wild generators, that's not that big of a downside. 3 cost for this basic event that's both attack and thwart traded, which is perfect for us. And as long as you spend 1 of each type of resources on this, it deals 2 damage, it removes 2 threat, so that's already base Hit and Run, but it also heals 2 damage from your identity. This card is so much more fun. It is strictly better Hit and Run, as much as you could be in situations where your hand is only physical resources for some reason. But I love this for so many reasons. It fires Gamora and it heals you. And I think one big thing I want to see more in Marvel Champions is bruiser characters that can stand and take a fight and never have to jump down and can heal in their hero kit. We somewhat recently played a really cool Bishop deck that had a lot of healing built in. I think the upcoming Wonder Man probably falls in that same category. But I love a brawler type hero that can stand and fight, and just having this sort of incidental healing goes really, really far. We'll never often have to exhaust to defend, and man, this card's a really, really cool Gamora card. Now, in our Alter Ego, we're allowed to play cards from other aspects. Technically, we're basic aspect. I don't think that's a real big thing for deck building, so you could actually say that we can imagine we're a leadership deck. But we do have 6 cards that we borrowed from the other aspects, and these are the choices we came down with. So firstly, with Justice, 2 copies to clear the area. This card is so good. It replaces itself. And generally when you're playing solo, it's not too hard to find 2 threat or less on a card, so you can get that card draw. It's really nice also to have cheap thwart events, so when you play the attack that cares that you thwarted that turn, let alone this does the damage. I'm also playing 1 copy of Multitasking. We're slightly a toolbox deck with our ally who can grab the right card at the right time. And with so many wild generators, it shouldn't be hard to get the kicker where we pay 1 to do 2 threat and then 2 threat off of another card. I like it quite a lot. We mentioned being a brawler. So Momentum Shift is an attack that heals you. You have to be damaged to play this card though, because healing damage is the cost, but this just does 2 damage and technically removes a threat on some board states. It's kind of mid, but healing is actually really, really important. It's really valuable, so I like it a heck of a lot. And instead of playing a 3rd copy, I'm playing 1 copy of 1 by 1, just because it's one of my favorite cards. It does 2 damage, and if it defeats something, it does 2 other damage. A lot of times the decks that play 1 by 1 have ways to make it do more damage because it makes each instance of damage improved. Not for us. For us, it's just flexible. It's not that hard for us to whittle down, say, a minion by doing our ability on our hero side after playing a thwart event and having this clean something up. These slots, I think you can do whatever you want. This is definitely optional. You can get a healing card in here. You can get a big attack if you want. I feel like we have enough big attacks, but there is so many options with Gamora, which is maybe kind of funny that we decided to go basic. But yeah, there's a lot of good attack and thwart events. And as Gamora gets older and older, you just get spoiled with more and more options. Now, I mentioned this before, we are an event-based deck, and sometimes that's a struggle. So I do actually really value when you're playing something like Gamora to have cards that you can put on the table that will give you constant value to make sure that you don't just draw a bad hand and do nothing. And so these are 2 common cards. I don't play a lot of Avengers Mansion, I'll be honest. We really want to get these 2 cards down on our first cycle through our deck. So the second cycle of our deck is just events. And just having one more card draw makes it so much more consistent that we can fire both of Gamora's reactions or responses by just having enough cards in hand to have the right options. We also play Helicarrier, which is probably just enough. It's kind of hard to find resource generators for a Guardian traded card, so Helicarrier works. We're also playing Endurance because we want more health, because we want to heal. We don't want to defend a lot, so having additional health really helps so we can take another punch and heal that up and keep standing. For that same reason, we're playing Specialized Training. This is a player side scheme that when you clear it, you can go get a specialization, and the specialization we're playing is probably my favorite one. Firstly, having a 5-threat scheme is not the worst because we always get incidental extra thwarting. If the main is clear, why not just put it on Specialized Training? And we're ideally going to grab Frontline Specialist. This is one of my favorite specializations. You get this for free once you clear Specialized Training, and it gives you +4 hit points, which we really want because we really want to just be that sort of brawler. And it says after we take damage from an attack, draw a card. More card draw is great, more options to combo to make sure we have the right events in hand. And this is just so fun that you take attacks every turn, draw up, and then dump potentially a 7-card hand. I just like this one so much. A bunch of the other ones give you better stats, but we actually like events more than we like stats. All right, to round up some of our basic pool here, we're playing some allies. We have 2 really good Guardian allies. Groot is just phenomenal, 6 health. After he defends for an attack, he heals 2, which means he can just toe-to-toe infinitely smaller minions mostly. I really wish there were more blocking favored allies in this game. Groot is a really rare card. We also have Rocket Raccoon. Also really nice for 3 costs. We can get up to 6 thwart. We can get overkill damage, and having the flexibility, again, for an event-based deck, we appreciate that. We're also running, no surprise, some standards. And the real reason why we're running the standards is we are a basic deck, so we're not playing any allies outside of basic. So Nick Fury draws more cards. That helps with an event-based deck. And Prof X, we can get that confused. That really helps if we want to jump down and heal, but just playing some good basic stuff makes sense. And that's because our resource generators, outside of Energy, Genius, and Strength, we're playing 2 copies of the Power in All of Us. This card generates 2 resources. They're wild type, so we can choose what they are, which is perfect not only for our allies, but when we want to play some multi-talenteds or even hidden runs. So we can decide, hopefully we'll get all 3 modes. And this is the deck. So far, I played it through an entire expert campaign of Mutant Genesis, and I had just a great time. We're not finding yourself often in situations where a hand just doesn't do anything. Sometimes you have to make the trade-offs between setting up and playing events and firing your responses, especially in the early game. But you do really want to set up your big supports on the first cycle through your deck. So the second cycle of your deck is only just smooth events and a couple allies who end up on the wrong side of a villain's attack. I think Gamora is one of the heroes I played the least, and I'm looking to change that. She is more fun than the amount of time I put into her. Let's give this a shuffle, and let's talk about Ultron, who I went out of the way to pick as an interesting matchup. I think there's some very favorable kind of interactions. The little drones we can ping off really easily with our finesse response. That should line up pretty well, but Ultron's pretty good at generating a lot of problems you have to deal with. Let's just give this a quick shuffle. All right, we have the Crimson Cowl. We're playing stock standard. We're playing standard 3, so our Nemesis might come out a bit more consistently. And we're also playing on expert just to kind of kick it up. Ultron has only 3 minions in the deck, but we'll be spawning drones off the top of ours. There's some pretty bad treacheries. Specifically also in under attack, there's 2 copies of Concussive Blast. With that card, you have to be very careful that you're not blocking crucial attacks with allies that have 1 health. Setup says put the Ultron drones environment into play, shuffle the encounter deck. I've already done that, but we'll do that really quick for the camera. Give that a cut, and we'll flip this over. The Crimson Cowl. Shout out to the core set of Marvel Champions, still really quite good. This, mind you, has 3 main schemes. You want to stay on the first, or usually you end up on the second. The third one is a disaster if you get there, as much as you can win the game. Now, 3 threshold on the Crimson Cowl, incredibly low. Ultron is using the components Claw delivered in order to build an army of Ultron drones. When revealed, each player puts a top card of their deck into play face down, engaged with them as a drone minion. And this environment over here called Ultron drones just explains how the rules work. So they each have 1 scheme, 1 health, 1 attack. Normally we track health on cards, so I'm not going to put a 1 health die on it. I think we're just going to know that face down cards are 1 health until that might change. And after it's destroyed, it goes into our discard pile. So this could be our most valuable card. It also could be our sword, which that's totally fine. Let's look at Ultron. 22 health, really big. Side 3, I think, has 25 health. It's one of the most healthy health pools. And Forced Interrupt, when Ultron attacks you, put the top card of your deck into play, face down, engaged as a drone minion. Until the end of the attack, Ultron gets +1 attack for each drone minion. Then after that, then the minions activate. So then all these minions will activate against us. That, we can start. Our mulligans are interesting. We want to find our finesses. We want to set up if we can with an Avengers Mansion. Really, unfortunately, and this was something that happened in the core box more than anywhere else, a lot of the main schemes, or there's no side schemes on turn 1, there's just no threat to do. So half of our heroes' text box is blank and half the cards on our deck are blank. So sometimes the mulligans get really ugly unless you draw your player side scheme. Power in all of us. Not a bad start. We have a lot of good basic cards. All our setup cards are basic cards. So our allies and our supports. I think I said maybe I'd start with this if it was in our opening hand, but this card is so expensive. I think we need to get rid of this just to draw something better. If we draw something good that we can play with the Power in all of us, maybe we'll keep Gamora Sword. It seems really good in the scenario, but also, I don't know. I really don't know. Hit and run. This is what I mean. These cards don't really do anything on turn one, or at least they do half as little because you don't get the 3 threat you're missing from playing this. So we probably don't keep them as much as it is a basic card. That's good. Okay, that's a good start. Getting a resource generator, maybe that makes Gamora Sword playable. Who knows? That's a really good start. Forward momentum, another card we won't keep because there's no threat to be done. And a momentum shift is legally unplayable. As a cost, you have to heal 2 health and we're at full health. Okay, this is not the worst start. If we draw 3 more cards, plus we can maybe top deck a card with our alter ego ability. That'd be kind of nice. We could pay 1, 2, 3 for Helicarrier. Helicarrier +2 plays Gamora Sword, and then we just pass. I mean, I'll take that risk, but maybe this is the one game we play Gamora Sword. Let's find out. Okay, multi-talented. That's fine. We have no interest in playing it because we don't heal. We don't do the threat. So it's like very, very expensive. Decisive Blow is not the worst card, but I don't think we're going to be thwarting this turn. So not really great. And an acrobatic move is not awful. This is a 0-cost card. It removes a threat. Just kidding. That's not the worst. Okay, I think we're just going to use our alter ego ability to look at the top, peek for it. We really like a card here. No, specialized training. Oh, that's so awkward. That's really, really frustrating because if we didn't keep the Gamora Sword, we would have drawn it. And if we drew this, we'd actually have threat to remove this turn. We could have cleared it. It'll be there next turn, but feels bad that we kept the sword. Okay, let's try and commit to the sword bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1, 2, 3 for the Helicarrier. So again, resource generators are kind of hard to play when you're playing Guardians. They don't have anything inherently. So this is the best we have. And then I think we'll just play it. Unfortunately, that's our whole turn. 1, 2, 3. We have Gamora Sword. Shout out to the doubters who believed in Gamora Sword. I don't know who they are. And we just have to attack for 2 into the drone here. So we can't even fire Gamora Sword. This will be a finesse for sure. Oh, it's Profex. Okay, that's not great either. But okay, so now every time we play an attack event, we deal 1 damage. This is not once per phase. It's whenever. So hopefully whenever is like a busted good piece of text. We'll draw up. No surprise, specialized training. We have acrobatic moves. So this is 3 damage now and a threat. That sounds like it should be good, right? Keen instincts. Okay, we're winning. That's really quite good. Power in all of us. Nothing to play perfectly with it. We'd love a multi-talented or a hit and run. Cross counter. Ooh, we'll play that. But that's our whole hand. That's our whole hand. That's fine. Cool. Cross counter is also nice because it is an attack and it is thwart, and we can use it to knock out a drone. So it's kind of really good in this scenario if you draw at the right time. All right, Crimson Cow doesn't do anything besides 1 threat, has no text, threats for 1, completes on 3, which is pretty rough. Now Ultron's going to attack us, and when Ultron attacks us, we put a drone. So now Ultron is attacking for 3 and a card. We could exhaust ourselves here to mitigate some damage. We actually do want to take some damage, so our healing cards make sense. So we generally don't block the first attack. So 3 and a card. Cross counter is a reaction, so we'll wait till we take damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. So when 4 damage is coming through, now we'll play cross counter. So we'll pitch. Helicarrier plays Keen Instinct. Power in all of us plays this. I guess it's acrobatic move, unfortunately. Yeah, we're short a card here. Because Helicarrier plays Keen. Keen does nothing. And then Power plays Specialized. I think that's what we have to do. So another kind of sleepy turn, but it's our setup turns. That's fine. So Ultron's attacking us for 4 damage. We prevent 3, so we'll take 1. Then we deal 1 damage to an enemy, so we'll knock out this drone. I'm not sure if that lowers the amount of damage Ultron does to us, because this technically cares about how many drones. I'm not sure. Oh, Nick Fury. Bummer. Then we can remove a threat from a scheme. Then we can do our hero text. We played an attack and a thwart event, so we're going to not do finesse because there's no thwarting, but we can do precision. So we do 1 damage to Ultron. Got him. And then we can do Gamora Sword. So we can do 1 more damage to Ultron. Got him. And that's that. And now the drone doesn't activate against us, which is kind of cute. Encounter card. All right, we're getting hit again. Rage of Ultron. So Ultron attacks you. So when he attacks, we have to put a drone. We discard the top card of our deck for each damage dealt by this attack. That's not the worst. It means that we could lose our second finesse on the cycle. This means this turn, there's nothing to deal with besides this drone if we want to exhaust. But I think we need to knock out the drone because having drones in play is just a scary thing to do. So we will not block. 3 and a card. 1, 2, 3. Boost on Dark Designs. If you're not familiar with standard 3, it's just kind of like standard. This is the same as advanced. The only difference is it also puts a pursuit counter. And that pursuit counter, once this hits 4, we go get our nemesis set. So Ultron only attacks us for 2. That's acceptable. Down to 7. It's back to us. So we'll do the thing that we want to do. Helicarrier generates a resource to play our Keen Instincts. This generates a wild resource for a thwart or attack event, which we don't have. And then we'll do Power in All of Us for specialized training, which comes in with 5. And when we clear it, we get 4 health and the ability to draw a bunch more cards. We'll then just attack for 2 into this. It's the second Keen Instincts. Okay, bummer. So at least we got 2 resource generators. We can't be upset. And then that's back to us. We'll pass. Or back to the villain. We'll draw 5. 1 by 1. It's good for clearing out drones. It's an attack. We want another cross counter. Oh, I think we seen both of them. Hit and run is flexible. So we have threat and we have damage to do for sure. So that's perfect. Nebula means we can get whatever we want. Oh, actually, we have one more cross counter. Wait, that is incredibly good. These are really good cross counters. And finally, set the pace. So a bit of threat, a bit of extra damage. That's a really good cross counter. Dang. Okay. This goes to 1. Ultron attacks for 3 and a card, getting a drone. We are not going to block because we have a lot of work to do, and we're going to cross counter. So 1, 2, 3. No boost. Kind of perfect. It's always weird when you see no boost. You think you drew the card upside down, but there's no boost. All right, regardless, we'll Keen Instincts, which, mind you, Keen Instincts is a resource ability, so you can use it during the villain phase, and we'll just play cross counter. So when you would take damage, prevent 3 of the damage. Nailed it. Deal 1 damage to an enemy, so we'll knock out the drone to clear the area. That's fine. Remove 1 threat from a scheme. We'll go for this. Because of Ultron schemes, no matter what, this is going to pop realistically, unless we draw another 0 boost. Then we can fire our text, and our hero text can do 1 more damage. So we'll do it to Ultron, and then we'll do 1 more threat off of this. Then we can do 1 Gamora sword damage. So we'll do that to the villain. And you know what? I'm going to just have a little cheeky tracker here of how much damage we've done with Gamora sword, just to remember if it was worth it. I think so far we've only done 2 damage. I hope I haven't missed anything. Now the drone's dead, so it doesn't activate. Boost card is drawing near. Okay, so we have an incentive to jump down to Alter Ego, which means we just kind of lose the Crimson Cowl almost guaranteed. Because drawing nearer says it's an obligation. Once your turn begins, discard the top card of your deck. We discard a conditioning room, that's fine. And based off of how many resources, and our deck has a fair few resources, put an extra counter there. Once it hits 4, we get our Nemesis. To get rid of this, we have to discard an identity-specific card, which we can easily do with Set the Pace. Okay, we want to clear specialized training. It shouldn't be that hard. We could recover for 3, but if we clear specialized training, we shouldn't need to. So we can always do 1, 2 for Nebula. Nebula can go grab a card. We have the other 0-cost card that can remove a threat. We can. Then we can clear this. That's not bad. I think that's probably what we do. I realize we have 1 in hand anyways, so we can get anything we want. I think resources are going to be the problem. So we'll do Helicarrier. Let's hit and run for our ally. If she enters play, we can search her whole deck for attack or thwart event. So I think we just get the cheap one. Yeah. The other option is to get the cheap attack, but I think we've seen both of them, and the cheap attack would be nice. We could fire the sword once more. Is that what we want? I think it is. I think it is. 1 by 1 is technically 3 damage, but we need to get rid of drawing near. We could always jump down to Alter Ego and hope the top card of our deck not only is an event, but it is one of our Gamora cards for drawing near, but I don't think that's responsible. We'll set the pace. Remove 1 thwart from here. We played a thwart event, so we'll do 1 damage to Ultron, down to 17. And then Nebula will just clear specialized training. And when it's cleared, we go search a specialization, and we're going to grab our favorite frontline specialist. So we recover 4, and once per turn when we take damage from an attack, we can go ahead and draw a card, which is sick. Okay, we need to keep 1 card in hand, so we don't play 1 by 1. There was no 1-cost attack we could have got there. It's fine. Maybe I messed that up. We can attack for 2. I think we do. I don't think we want to recover. We'll attack for 2 into the villain. Then we'll flip down. We can look at the top of the deck for their hero ability. It's a multi-talented, so we can choose to draw it. If we draw it, it just means we'll get through our deck faster, which I think is totally okay. We can always mulligan this card away. It's honestly not that bad with Keen Instincts. It is notably not amazing with Helicarrier because if you reduce the cost, you're not paying for all parts of it. There's a chance that we won't need the threat because we're just letting it advance because we have to jump down to get rid of this. And when we've already discarded our Confused card. So I'm not too stressed about that. Multi-talented would be worth keeping if we had another Power in All of Us, but we've seen both of them. And that's the easiest way to fire all of its text. So I'll just get rid of Set the Pace to get rid of drawing near. It's an Alter Ego action. And I think we'll just toss both of these out. We'll pass. Draw up 6 cards. So we get Rocket. That's amazing. We have Momentum Shift for some good healing. Rocket and Groot are both so good in this scenario just because Overkill is awesome, let alone being able to block drones forever. Momentum Shift is also super playable. This technically now does 3 damage and 1 threat and heals 2. That's a lot for a single card. Oh, I forgot we still had this. We need to play this. I don't think we have any doubles left, but that's our most important card. Clear the area might not do anything because I don't think there's going to be a lot of threat. Endurance also really good. You can't have enough health against Ultron. Ultron attacks really, really hard. Oh, we have 1 double, so Avengers Mansion should be doable, and we can still hopefully draw the top card of our deck. This goes to 2. Ultron schemes for 2 and a card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Love to miss this expert card, which advances the Crimson Cowl. We go on to the second scenario, which is usually where you spend most of the game if things are going somewhere okay. Assault on NORAD. When revealed, each player puts a top card of the deck into play as a drone. And we advance to stage 2B. Stage 2B is interesting because it gives you a choice every time you put threat on this. So after placing threat here, either you give yourself a drone or you place 2 more threat on here. Generally, you want to always be able to place the threat. It's a bit scary because Ultron schemes for 2 and a card, and also maybe the drones can scheme on you. But the biggest issue is if this puts a drone, then Ultron attacks, puts a drone, Ultron's attacking for at least 4 base, and that's a pretty big attack. Now, Ultron activated, but now the drone activates, and drones technically scheme for 1, and we draw 1 encounter card. All right, bummer, but not the worst time to draw this. And now did we draw 2 of these already? I don't think we have. Okay, that's the wrong card, same text. But this says deal 1 damage to each character you control, so we take a damage. It's not from an attack, so we don't draw from Frontline Specialist. So we take 1, but also, unfortunately, we lose Nebula. These cards are really important to know where they are, or count how many are left in the deck, because blocking with a 1 health ally can be a total disaster. It's back to us, not too much we have to do. If we play an attack event, we deal with all of this, which is great. We'll look for the top card of our deck. It is an attack event, or a thwart event, so we can add it to our hand. And I don't think we're going to play hit and run here, because all we have to do is an attack, because there's not a lot of threat to be done. So I think our priority here is to play the mansion. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, and we'll just play all the cards we don't think are worth playing. So we won't play Clear the Area. That's fine. Yeah, we'll keep Helicarrier for something else. And we'll play Avengers Mansion. And then we'll just use Avengers Mansion. So our first cycle, we got 3 of our big cards down. That's quite nice. We draw into a Genius, which that's really quite good. We will not recover. We will flip up. So we can play Keen Instincts and Helicarrier for Momentum Shift. We could play Endurance and Genius for Rocket. And that uses all our cards. Yeah. It's a bummer not to play the Endurance, but I think we're in an okay spot. We could, in theory, recover for 3 here. We have to attack the drone, so we're wasting a bit of damage. Actually, no, Rocket will attack the drone. So we're wasting no damage. So that's kind of perfect. Oh, actually, no, Momentum Shift. Yeah, we're not thwarting, so Rocket will attack the drone. All right, we'll do Helicarrier and Keen Instincts for a Momentum Shift. So we can recover 2 because our max health is now 14. And then we'll do 2 damage. We'll do it to Ultron. And we do 1 more damage with the sword, which we will still choose to do to Ultron. So the villain takes 1 more. Why is that? Because we're going to play 1, 2, 3 for Rocket, and Rocket has overkill. So 3 health. We're going to attack the drone, and we're going to use his ability. So now he does attacks for 4, 1 to the drone, 3 into Ultron. So that was a multi-talented. All right. And then we're just going to thwart this down. It's a bit wasteful for sure. Sometimes it's nice to keep this at 2. I guess it depends what's our bottom 5 cards. We're going to draw all of these. And there is a multitasking in there. So, well, the multitasking is like not super good. It thwarts for 2. But this is going to go up if we don't clear it. Probably we want to add another drone. So it'll go up to 4. If Ultron schemes, will go to 5, 6. We'll draw 2 encounter cards. So like to be safe. Yeah, to be safe, we'll just thwart for 2. We'll pass. Draw up. I don't know why I shuffled these because we're drawing it all. So we have Groot, which is really good to get down. We have a strength to easily play Groot. Multitasking or decisive blow. Any of these cards functionally can get played off Keen Instincts. And we still have more card draw with Avengers Mansion. So it's quite nice. We did a good setup. We deck out, get an encounter card. Just got to shuffle this up. We're in a pretty okay spot. As much as also our Nemesis should be showing up probably in like 2 to 3 turns. 1 turn if we're unlucky. All right, Assault on NORAD. We have to make decisions. We put 1 threat here. We can either put a drone in, and that means we'll put another drone and Ultron attacks for 4. We're going to try and avoid that. So we'll try as much as possible to put 3 threat here instead. And now Ultron will attack us, which means we put a drone in, and he's attacking for 3 and a card. We have no good reason to block here. Any turn, there's multiple encounter cards. I don't love blocking. Sometimes against Expert, you should block if you're seeing multiple encounter cards because you can draw exhaustion and then you kind of waste it to your block. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. If things are really scary, we'll block with Rocket. So 1, 2, 3. No block. 4, 5 Rage of Ultron. That's a good card to know where they are. There's, I think, 4 cards that will make Ultron attack. So we take 4. But we fire Frontline Specialist. We took damage from an attack, so we can draw a card. We drew Keen Instincts. Sick. Drone attacks us for 1. We go down to 7, and we draw 2 encounter cards. First, Ultron's Imperative. So this thing is coming in with 2 threat, a hazard icon, and when it's revealed, you have to put 2 top cards face down engaged with you as minions. I'll be honest, this is not my first take of this game. I had such a banger game against Ultron. We were setting up so well. And then on the turn, I cleared Ultron's Imperative and then advanced to Ultron 3. Forgetting Ultron 3 puts Ultron's Imperative in play. And then 2 drones entered and then Ultron attacked for like 5. Each drone attacked for like 2 damage. And we took like 10 damage in a turn and died. It was so painful. So this is our second attempt at it. I'm going to remember that when you go to Ultron 3, it puts his Ultron Imperative back. So in theory, you want to like knock it out on the turn that we advance Ultron, which actually might be this turn. But yeah, I did lose this once already and it kind of hurt. It was totally up to me to not do that. Program transmitter, this is not bad. There's some really interesting attachments. They're all very powerful, but they all require you to exhaust to get rid of them, which is kind of expensive. Not super expensive, but kind of expensive, let alone requiring double resources. This gives Ultron +1 scheme and places threats on side scheme, which currently there's only one. There's not that many side schemes, so not a big deal. The bigger deal is all of these, because Ultron's attack scales for each drone in play. But I think we're gonna have a great turn here, especially because multitasking is like kind of perfect. All right, we'll start with the mansion. Draw a card. Multi-talented. Don't mind if I do. Ooh, let's think about what are we doing here. We have so many options. Priority here is to get rid of all the drones. Anytime we play attack event, it basically knocks out 2 drones. So it might be really nice to play a multi-talented because we can clear threat, damage, damage. There's no way we're not playing this, which means I'm going to use Helicarrier to play the second copy of Keen Instincts because now with 2 wilds, the multi-talented are just absurdly good. Yeah, that's a good start. So we're definitely going to play the multi-talented. We just require 1 card from hand. I'm assuming it'll be forward momentum. That leaves us with this. If we play Groot, Groot is just really good at blocking drones. That means we're wasting a resource. If we try really hard, we might be able to knock out Ultron this turn because if we played a threat event, so decisive blow does a lot. The only thing is we have to leave this at 1, which is totally doable actually. Maybe we have a really good turn here. Let me think about this. Because if we knock out Ultron, he can't reveal Ultron's imperative, which means it doesn't come back. We don't lose terribly the way that we lost the last game, and my heart doesn't have to break again. It broke really hard. So that's that. But then we have to do 9 to Ultron. So this can do 2 to Ultron, knock out 2 drones. Ultron's at 7. Then we can do decisive blow to Ultron. Decisive blow would clear the last threat. Yeah, this is so much better. We won't play Groot. We'll probably hold on to Groot, but we have the ability to do the coolest Gamora stuff. So when that shows up, you do the coolest Gamora stuff. So we'll pay 1, 2, 3. So we spend wild, mental. So we're going to choose to see all parts of this. So we're going to deal 2 damage to an enemy. It's going to be to Ultron. These don't have guard. We're going to remove 2 threat from a scheme. We'll do it to this scheme, the main scheme, and then heal 2 damage from us. We'll just take that. And now we have a bunch of things to do. Firstly, we fired an attack and a thwart event. From the attack event, we'll do finesse. We'll drop that to 1. And from the thwart event, we'll deal 1 damage. We'll knock out a drone. We'll knock out clear the area drone. We also now can use Gamora's sword. So it is actually okay. So we'll do 1 damage. We play an attack event. We'll knock out this drone. Pretty sure when we advance Ultron, the drones get bigger, but with a rocket on the table, I don't think we mind. Now Ultron's at 7. So glad we're not messing this up. Decisive blow. So it says deal 4 damage to enemy. This is now 7 damage because we played a thwart event, multi-talented to thwart, and we'll hit Ultron, which knocks out perfectly Ultron, and we advance to Ultron 3. I think Ultron 3 is like one of the biggest jumps in Marvel Champions because we go from having 22 health to 27 health, which is a lot. Each drone minion gets +1 attack, +1 hit point. So now they're bigger. So now they're 2 health, 2 attacks. And search and counter deck and discard pile for Ultron's imperative. Reveal it, which we can't do. I don't think there's more than 1, right? That'd be ridiculous. Oh, good. There's not, which is great because that's how we lose the scenario when you mess it up. So that's all we have to do. Now, notably, Ultron here cannot take damage while a drone minion's in play. That's super important. But the biggest thing is Ultron doesn't spawn drones anymore, just over and over and over again. So the only way drones are going to come into play is if we choose to let Assault on NORAD spawn drones, or encounter cards can spawn drones, not uncommonly. Now, the end of Decisive Blow will fire because we now have played an, oh no, we can't fire. Sorry, I thought we were going to be able to fire a Gamora's ability to remove 1 threat. We can't. That's fine because I think we're going to have another cool thing to do. But yeah, her abilities once a turn, of course. So we could thwart for 2, or we could just do multitasking. That seems so much cooler. So we will. We'll spend a wild for it. We'll make it a mental. Remove 2 threat. Remove 2 threat. I've learned my lesson so well from this. Rocket Raccoon will attack. He's down to 1 health, so it's a bit risky to block. But we'll attack for 4 with overkill to the drone, 2 to Ultron. Down to 25. We get rid of forward momentum and we'll just attack for 2. Did we forget Gamora's sword? We forgot Gamora's sword. But we can't do anything with Gamora's sword. No, we could have. I think we forgot Gamora's sword when we played Decisive Blow. We'll do the Gamora sword damage to the drone, which means Rocket does more overkill damage. So technically Ultron couldn't take damage, but with overkill, we can make him sort of take damage and we'll pass. All right, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Actually pretty good. Gamora sword dealing 5 damage. Not the worst so far. Prof, that's great if we need to jump down. We're at 9 health, that's okay. Clear the area, probably won't matter. Conditioning room, if we want to jump down again. This card is kind of nothing, but whatever. Multi-talented, that's great. We just want to keep healing every turn. And then we have a set the pace, which is thwarting. But multi-talented with 2 keen instincts cannot ask for better. Assault on NORAD. So we're going to go ahead and not put drones in play because Ultron can't take damage. Oh, I forgot to physically flip this guy over. But 4 attack instead. So we'll go ahead and put this at 3. In theory, of Ultron schemes, that might be an issue, but we will really want to confuse and just stay up as much as we can. Back to Ultron. He's attacking for 4 and a card. I don't think we block here. We have to remove 3 threat a turn. With multi-talented, it's not that hard. Maybe we could block here for safety. The worst case scenario is we get one of the improved guard drones in play, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. Yeah, we'll block. We're blocking for 2, so 4. Oh, last concussive blast. So unfortunately that knocks out Rocket, but now we know where both of them are, which is the discard pile. So keeps happening. Remind me to rename this one. But deal 1 damage to each character. So we take 1, Rocket takes 1. And then Ultron attacks for 4, we take 4. And because of Frontline Specialist, which I forgot to unexhaust, we draw a card. So we're at 4 health, we have a Nick Fury. Or sorry, we don't take 4, we block, we take 2. This is scary because if this says Ultron attacks, we could just lose. No. Swarm attack. Each drone minion engaged with your hero attacks. If no attacks are made this way, put the top card of your deck as a drone. So there is a drone, 2 health, 2 attack. We need to get rid of it. Ultron can take damage, but that's not too bad. From this point on, we always want to have an ally in front of us because if we get double attacked, 6 health is a bit sketchy, or we can bring our health up. But multi-talented, this is perfect. So let's start by drawing with Avengers Mansion. We want a double. Got a double. Damn, he's good. So is this a Nick angle? Profx seems really important. In terms of cards that don't matter, like Conditioning Room, doesn't matter. 2/3 Helicarrier for 4. I think that's good enough. So we'll do Helicarrier, Genius, Conditioning Room, play the Professor. It's kind of silly to play 2 like temporary cards in the same turn because you lose their like chump block potential. So we might hold on to Professor. Nick Fury will just use to draw 3. We'll do 1, set the pace, 2, Acrobatic, cheap damage, and Endurance. We really want to play Endurance just to get some more padding. Okay, card we need the least. I'm assuming it's set the pace. So we'll do set the pace. Keen for multi-talented. While there's a drone in play, mind you, Ultron cannot take damage. So deal 2 damage to an enemy. We'll knock out the drone. There's a power in all of us. Okay. Remove 2 threat. Deal 2. Then we can do all their text. So hero text, we can do 1 damage. So Ultron will take 1. We'll remove 1 threat here. And we can use Gamora Sword to do 1 damage to Ultron. Down to 20. Nick has nothing to do, so we'll attack for 2. I don't think we're going to get rid of this card. I don't think it really matters. Plus 1 threat. It's like whatever. Let alone we're exhausted. So try and hold on to Prof. So I think we're just going to send all the damage we have. Acrobatic move. Deal 2 damage. We'll do it. Let alone it fires Gamora's sword. Let me get another purple die. So we've done 7 damage with the sword. I mean, turn 1. Maybe that's the best case. Then we'll play Endurance. So we have plus 3 hit points. So technically we have max of 17 health, which is kind of cool. We're up to 11. I think I'm going to hold on to Professor X. I'm going to throw out Set the Pace. It's actually not the worst card. It's technically 1 threat and 1 damage, but on average, I think our 3 cost neutral cards are just as good, if not better. We'll pass. We'll draw up. We'll get 1, 2, 3. Cross counter is really good, as much as Nick might be the blocker here. Multi-talented for more healing, and then Nebula to get some choices. We've always been drawing Nebula when we only have like 8 cards left in our deck, so she doesn't have that many choices, but that's quite nice. Okay, I think actually we have an interesting choice here, because either we place 2 threat here or we put a drone into play. Now, if Nick Fury blocks the drone will then attack us, and then that fires Frontline Specialist while only taking 2 damage. Let alone when the drone attacks us, we can play cross counter, and then cross counter can destroy the drone. That's probably best, actually. I think we choose to take a drone here. I think that's correct. It seems correct. So we'll take the drone, because that means we can fire a Frontline Specialist. Oh no, because we cancel the damage with cross counter, we don't actually draw anything. So we'll only play cross counter, which cross counter does so much. It just does a heck of a lot. It's an attack for the sword, it's an attack for us, it's a thwart for us, as much as we lose a bit of threat here. So we'll just keep it for a panic if we take 2 attacks. So let's not take the drone. We'll instead put this to 3, and Ultron will attack us for 4 on a card. We'll block with Nick. 4, 5, 6. That was a drone, unfortunately. Nick is knocked out. 1 encounter card. Evil Alliance. So we're not getting attacked, I don't think. When revealed, each Nemesis minion in play activates. Otherwise, we put a bunch of counters here. Once it hits 4, we go get our Nemesis. So we're going to have to deal with Evil Nebula, which means because she's unique, we can't play our good Nebula. But here's another challenge we have to deal with. So Nemesis is Nebula. 5 health, Retaliate 2, kind of rare. And Force Interrupt when this minion would enter play, discard Nebula. Again, uniqueness rule is kind of cool. She has 3 boost. She also has a side scheme. We'll be shuffling 3 cards into the deck, which is still relatively healthy. This is Sibling Rivalry. It comes in with 4 threat. It says that we are the only player who can remove threat for here, which for solo doesn't really matter. Enforced response after the villain phase begins, deal a face down encounter card to Gamora. That's a really cool way to get a hazard that doesn't hurt everyone at the table or potentially anyone at the table besides us. So that's kind of nice. And ideally we clear this just like sort of on accident. All right, Retaliate 2 for Nebula means that we really need a hit with one big attack, so we don't take the Retaliate. Luckily, our response is not an attack. Gamora's sword is not an attack. That means we can get some chip damage if we're lucky. So, cool. I guess we'll put that on top. Okay, it's back to us. We'll start with the mansion. 1 by 1. Ooh, that's a nice way to knock a Nebula. I think getting the confuse on Ultron's good, and then we can thwart 3 on here. Our hand has an attack event and a thwart event. However, if we play multi-talented and it doesn't defeat Nebula, we take Retaliate 2, which is like not my favorite thing to do. Yeah, that's the problem. This is our only thwart event, so I think we're going to end up taking Retaliate 2 at some point. Bummer. Yeah, Frontline Specialist is only from an attack, so we can't take Retaliate damage to draw a card, which would be kind of sick. And unfortunately, it didn't fire this turn. We'd really like it to have done that. Like, seems like we should be happy with a 6-card hand size, but we'd want more. Okay, so I think no matter what, Helicarrier plus Energy's Prof X will go for the Confuse. That leaves us with this hand. We can't play Nebula until Nebula is defeated. So we could do Nebula plus Keen Instinct for multi-talented. Just do 2 damage plus 1 damage plus 1 damage plus clearing the board. That's fine. And then we could probably hold cross counter. 15 damage though. Maybe we could 1 by 1 Nebula and just throw out the cross counter. That'd also be kind of cool. So we'll do Helicarrier plus a double for the Professor. When he enters play, and he'll be our blocker this round, we'll confuse Ultron. 3 health. We'll just use Professor to thwart 3 off of Sibling Rivalry. Now, it doesn't say only our hero can remove this, so I'm pretty sure any card we can remove this. It's not just hero. Cool. Then we'll do 1, 2, 3 for multi-talented. So deal 2 damage to an enemy. It's an attack, so we'll deal 2 damage to Nebula. We take Retaliate 2. Then we'll remove 2 threat from a scheme. We'll remove 2 from this. And we'll heal 2 from ourselves, so we'll undo that damage. And we'll recover 2 up to 11. Then this resolves, so we can do, in any choice of order, we'll use Gamora's ability to remove 1 threat from Sibling Rivalry. We'll do 1 damage to Nebula. Then we'll do the sword, and we'll do the sword to do 1 damage to Ultron, because it's any enemy, down to 14. Sick. Then we'll just play cross counter for 1 by 1, just to do more damage. So this deals 2 damage to Nebula. Because it defeats Nebula, we don't take the Retaliate. And then because we defeated something, we can do 2 damage to somebody else. We'll do it to Ultron. And because we played an attack event, we can do Gamora's sword for 1 more. Ultron's down to 11, so probably within striking distance if we draw a big attack here. I'm not sure how many decisive strikes. Oh, we're still ready. We'll attack for 2. For now, we're ready. That makes it easy. So Ultron's down to 9, and we'll pass. All right, drop. That was a cool turn. We have hit and run. There's a cross counter. It's hard when we block with allies to play cross counter, but we might make it make sense. Momentum shift is playable, and an acrobatic move is 3 damage and 1 threat, which is great. So I think we'll keep the cross counter for a turn where Prof X doesn't block. We can always just cross counter. It might be good. Like we can just take the attack from Ultron and cross counter it. That guarantees us drawing a card usually. Not necessarily. I think we can take the attack. Let's just take the attack so we can play cross counter. All right, Assault on NORAD. I think we're going for a no drone just because we want to do damage. So we'll make this go up to 2 and then up to 4. We have the confuse, so we can be a bit risky with this. Ultron's going to attack us. We're not going to block with Professor X. So we're going to be attacked for 4 and a card. Are we going to exhaust? No, we have enough health. So we won't block. 4. Boost on Android efficiency. I think we have to spend an energy. So spend an energy or play a drone. So we'll get rid of acrobatic move. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's fine. Hit and run is like harder to play, but we're going to use all parts of it. All right, so that's only 4 damage. That's perfect. That's what we want because we're going to do Keen Instincts. We're going to play cross counter. So firstly, we prevent 3 of that damage, so we only take 1. When we take 1 damage, that's perfect because we can draw a card. Hit and run. Nice. Should have thrown out the other one, I guess. Then we can deal 1 damage to an enemy, so Ultron will take 1. And we can remove 1 threat. Then we fire our hero text, or our finesse, and our precision. So 1 more to the enemy, 1 more here. And then we play an attack event, so Gamora's sword has done 10 damage. I mean, seems good. Seems okay, honestly. Then we'll draw a counter card. Dark Designs. Okay, that's perfect. We saw this coming. So this plays 1 counter here, but Ultron is not scheme because Ultron's confused. It's up to us to do 6 damage. That shouldn't be hard. Professor X leaves us. We're going to Avengers Mansion to draw a card. Hopefully it's a big damage attack. It's a momentum shift. That's probably good enough. So we'll just do all the damage we can. So we're going to do Helicarrier, Power in All of Us, Hit and Run. So 2 damage to Ultron, 2 threat from here. Fire our hero ability because we thwarted to do 1 more damage. And we'll do Gamora's sword to do 1 more damage. I really wish we kept the 0 cost one. It'd been so much cooler. Sword did 11 damage for science. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll do 1, 2, 3 momentum shift just to end a bit more healthy. Over 10 health is nice. Heal 2 damage. Deal 2 damage to Ultron. And then Gamora's sword does 1 more. attack for 2, for style, and that's it. This is a really cool matchup. I think we have a lot of good angles to interact with the drones, like that chip damage where you don't lose any damage. We don't have to do attack events into drones. Obviously, that's really good. This is the Greymora deck. And honestly, like the basic cards are not bad at all. There's no reason you have to play hit and run. I think this one's much worse than multi-talented, which is just so good in this list. So if you want to go ahead and pick your favorite faction, your favorite aspect, and then just build around it while still playing multi-talented, you totally can. I do want to say one thing about event-based decks. I wish there was more cards that gave you value when you played events. It seems like all the cards that care about playing events are only aggression cards, and there's so much design space to explore there. That's this deck, the Greymora deck. It's been a lot of fun. It's linked in the description if you want to check out a Marvel CDB link. Mind you, I played this through an entirety of a Mutant Genesis campaign on Expert already and just had the best time. So I can endorse it as much as feel free to make changes. And if you do, let me know what you end up changing. It's always a really fun conversation. Two things. Firstly, if you enjoy this sort of video, you want to leave a like on the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, all that sort of stuff really helps us grow. But also, Civil War, it will be out as of today when this video comes out on Friday. So we'll be here on Sunday in just 2 days, doing a big old stream starting Sunday morning, probably going late into the afternoon, trying out that whole box because Canada just gets it this Friday. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully you can make it for the stream. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one.